When does he get out? Did you say 2 years?
He might get out, and it's up in the air because of the way that see a lot of people in there are getting jacked up by like the prison system, where it's like they can give them as much halfway house as they want and as much home confinement as they want. So if somebody wanted to, they could be like, hey, so now we're going to give you a year in the halfway house. That comes right off a sentence. It's like this much of your sentence is going to be spent there, and we're going to give you this much of like home confinement after that, so you can leave here in 2 months. They could do that if they really wanted. It's more likely it's gonna be somewhere in between, and he's hoping to get out in April. But what's probably going to happen, because he was a gang member and is quote unquote a threat to society, as the case manager told him a few weeks ago, and he was real bummed out. He was real sad when I left too. I could tell.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, it was. They probably going to be like next year or the year after, 2021, I think. Let's
get him on the show.
A couple of people asked if they could come on the show. One guy who is this guy is an Iraq war veteran, had severe brain trauma. He got in a gunfight at a club like 10 years ago, shot 3 guys, one of them in the face in self-defense. They let him go, and if he had gone to court and like pursued it, he could have had it expunged because he was released on those charges. However, they didn't, and they stayed on his record. So then when he got caught for selling drugs, they gave him 20 fucking years because this prior thing was still on his record, even though he didn't serve time for it. So they were like, this is your second strike, and your first one was a gun battle where you assaulted 3 people. He's like, well, I wasn't convicted of that. He's like, well, it's on your record that you were. And so they gave him 20 fucking years. He's like, I'm in here doing cartel time over a pound of weed and 3 ounces of cocaine. He's like, I get that I need to go to jail, but I've been in here for 16 years now. Like, I got 4 more to go. His daughter does a political podcast that deals a lot with the federal prison system and prisoner issues and that sort of thing. So he left me all her information. I guess he expected me to get in touch with her and get her on the show or something like that. But you just take that information and smile when that sort of thing happens.
I don't even mention the podcast to acquaintances who don't ask. Like I was wanting to ask, like, you brought that up, or they just inquired about it, and you're like, yeah, I do a show with 2 retards who talk about stupid shit. And
yeah, people would ask because it comes up, are you going to have to, what are you going to do after this? Because a lot of these guys, they lost their jobs or whatever. Now they got to get a new job, and they're like, they're taking like classes in there so that they can do stuff on the outside. But yeah, it would come up one way or another, like what I did or what I was up to or whatever. I would tell them, I would explain to them that I do a podcast and what a podcast is. But this guy was like, yeah, my daughter does a podcast. It was like, this guy actually knew what was up.
This is Snow.
This is the war veteran who had all the brain injuries.
Okay.
What was
he
the
was
reception?
Muslim. He was a nice guy.
Podcast shit, like,
yeah, they were like whatever. Whatever.
Neat.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sounds good. I sold drugs, or I was running with the family. You tell them you have an exciting career, and they're like, yeah, me too. Yeah. I was moving pounds, son.
Is a pound a lot? I guess.
Pounds. One guy.
Pounds
I was
whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely depends on what it is. One guy, I was explaining to him, he's like, how much did you have to get 2 months? I was like, half an ounce, man, half an ounce. He's like, what the fuck? I was moving 100 pounds a week.
That guy is cool as fuck.
His name is Stinky.
Stinky?
That was Stinky.
Like that kid in Hey Arnold.
There was Stinky, Snow. I'm trying to think of like some of their names.
I like that everyone in prison went by gamer tags.
Yeah, a lot of them had gamer tags, dude. Oh man, Block.
Yeah, my name is No Scope XX69.
Even the guards had gamer tags. Like one of. Oh, that's Clicker. Oh, that's Clicker. All right. Clicker was a. I won't go. He
the
asked me
guards
to talk.
Tough? No.
Only the officers.
An officer's a guard boss.
Yeah. There was this captain who came in who was sent in to like quote unquote clean up the camp, and that meant both literally and figuratively. So he was going to, all right, you're definitely getting out there with pressure washers and scraping paint off the walls and repainting the walls, but I'm gonna sniff out those of you running contraband in here. And if y'all don't clean this camp up for me, I'm gonna bring somebody in who will. if you want to see a strike team, you're going to see one in 2 weeks. And a strike team would mean like in 2 weeks, they just storm in there with riot gear at 2 a.m. and fucking line us up and start stripping everybody down, like running through everybody's shit, throwing it out on the floor.
Jesus.
I saw a few people get searched there. I'll say for next week. Because there were guys that got caught with marijuana, but every drug was in there. Like
this isn't
pills.
like